Okay, the purpose of this video is just to give you a quick run through of how to import an existing Bootstrap theme or template into RapidWeaver skins within RapidWeaver. This is certainly one of the more sort of advanced features of RapidWeaver skins. It does solve a fundamental problem of letting us go to a website which offers free Bootstrap themes or templates and being able to import one of those creations into RapidWeaver to continue working with it. In front of us now is a website called Start Bootstrap, and this is just one such example of a website offering free themes to download. And in particular, for example, this one called New Age is a prime example of one which I could potentially rebuild and continue using in RapidWeaver. A lot of these provide a live demo which we can take a quick look at and just see what the theme would look like. You can see they're very well designed, very modern, fully mobile compatible and responsive, so they are ideal to build within RapidWeaver. So I'm going to start by downloading this theme, and that can be done by just clicking on this download button here and saving the theme onto my computer. What I typically like to do is when these themes download is just do a little bit of housework, so to speak, a little bit of tidying of them. So I'll start by unzipping the theme, and we'll just take out some of the files and folders which we don't actually need. So in particular, I'm going to take out the gulp JavaScript file. We can take out this old license file for now. The JSON files can go. We can also delete SCSS, and within the vendor folder we can also take out Font Awesome, because we can use the version of Font Awesome supplied with RapidWeaver skins, which I know to be a newer version of what's been offered here. And pretty much all the remaining files can be left as they are. We can keep our README file and the license file in there. Quite a lot of these themes, they supply the code both minified and in standard format. If you wanted to edit some of the code to change styles, particularly things like background images, you'd probably want to keep the standard files and go in and edit those. But if you're happy just to use the theme straight up, I'd say use the minified versions, and that you'll get a little bit of a time saving when using those. And then what I like to do is just to give these files, the actual theme folder, a new name. So I'll call this one Cool Theme, for example, like so. And then switching over into RapidWeaver 8, what I've done already is to go ahead and add a Stax page to my project. For now I've just dragged and dropped in an HTML code stack. And in this example what I'm going to do is add my downloaded theme as a resource in RapidWeaver. So I can open the resources window. I've still got an old theme in here, so I'm just going to delete that out. And to add a new theme as a resource, I click on the plus button. We'll select Add Files. I'm going to select my Cool Theme folder, open that. So that is now added, and we can see the hierarchy here of all the files. And they're still intact and ready to be used. Alternatively, if you didn't want to add this as a resource, you could just go ahead and upload the theme folder directly to your web server via FTP in the normal way. For this video today I'm just going to add it as a resource just because that's a little quicker and easier. So we can close that and save our changes, and at this point we can begin to slice up our template. Before I slice up the template, what I'm going to do is just open the settings for the RapidWeaver skins theme, and there's two important settings to change. Firstly, you want to make sure that this build entire page with Stax setting is enabled, and optionally you can also disable this load bootstrap from theme option. Because our downloaded template already includes Bootstrap, this will give us a little bit of a file saving in that we won't be loading duplicate versions of Bootstrap. So just with those two settings applied, we're now ready to begin the process of slicing up our template and importing it into RapidWeaver. So just a word of caution here, there is a little bit of HTML code required, but the procedure isn't massively complicated, and even if you haven't used HTML before, you should by and large be okay with the process involved. And with some practice it does become a lot easier, and you'll get to the point where you'll almost be able to do it with your eyes closed. So we'll open our HTML file in just a normal code editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code here, and like any HTML page or document, there's two core components. Okay, you've got your head section at the top here, and then you've got the body section lower down. And starting with the head section, what I'm going to do is copy out all the links, and I'm going to paste these into a new code file. So I'll just open that and create that accordingly. I'm just going to save this so we have some syntax highlighting available. There we go. There's one file call here which I'm going to delete out straight away, and that's for the font awesome icons. For the reason I already explained, but I'd prefer to use the font awesome icons supplied in RapidWeaver skins already, so that one's safe to go. And again, if you wanted to use embedded fonts provided with RapidWeaver skins already, you can delete out these calls to Google Web Fonts if you wanted to. I'm going to leave those in there for now. So the normal RapidWeaver syntax for resources, as you might be aware, is 2 percentage marks followed by the word resource, and then opening and closing brackets. And then typically what happens is that you paste in the name of a resource between the two brackets like that. And we can follow a similar convention here, in that we can just take the first part of our resource macro and paste it at the front of each of these links like this. And I'm just going to repeat that for each of these. And then obviously to close the macro of a resource, I can just paste that in at the end between the file extension and the double quote mark. You can see if you've got resources which point to an external location, like in this case Google Web Fonts, you don't need to change anything. These can be left as they are. It's only these local ones that need to be changed. And then we called our theme cool theme, so we just need to make sure we enter that at the start here as well, so that's properly prefixed accordingly. So I'll just do that, and that's that updated. So I can now take this code and cut it to my clipboard. I'm going to switch back over into RapidWeaver 8. There's two places where you can put this code for the head section of a page. We can either go into the page inspector, click on HTML code and stick it here in the head section on each page. Alternatively, if you're going to be building a website which has multiple pages and uses the same theme or template, it may be more convenient to come over here to the general settings instead and click onto code head, and then I'm just going to paste in my RapidWeaver resource macros accordingly and the other file calls. So just casually glancing over and just double checking that looks to all be correct and ready, but of course we can test this for real in a few moments time. The next stage is to slice up the remainder of the page, so I'm going to go back into my code editor and I'm going to copy now everything between the opening and closing body tags and copy that to my clipboard, switch over into my blank file and paste that in. Just going to select all that and sort out the indentation slightly. And again, in this file we do have ourselves, they're highlighted quite well with some underlined links here. These links point to local resources again, or relative paths. So these will also want to be updated with our RapidWeaver syntax again for resources, so that these links will all correctly resolve. So I'll go ahead and do that now. We've got ourselves a couple of images in here. That's a JPEG image. Notice we've got some SVG graphics here, another JPEG image here, and at the bottom of the page here we've got some JavaScript code as well, which will also want to be updated with the correct RapidWeaver link resource syntax. You might be wondering, well, hang on a minute, why have we got JavaScript at the bottom of the code? This is actually quite a good practice. It just means that putting JavaScript code towards the end of a page ensures that page can load slightly quicker, and so that's generally quite a good practice which a lot of web developers tend to do. I will go ahead now quickly and update all these links in this page accordingly. There we go. So I've gone through this file now and I've just updated all the links that I could find to convert them into paths which RapidWeaver will convert into the full path to our resources which we've added in RapidWeaver. And what I'm going to do is copy this entire page now and paste this into RapidWeaver into our HTML stack. So in edit mode things look a bit messy. However, if I now switch into preview mode, what we should hopefully find is our page renders almost perfectly. Scrolling down, it looks very similar to how the other site looked when we were viewing it on Start Bootstrap. Only issue I see here is the navigation bar is missing its background at the top here. Potentially that's something we can fix quite easily just with some custom CSS code. Looks like what is happening here is our main nav has got a background colour of transparent applied to it, which we can probably change with some custom CSS. But I'm going to leave that for now anyway, because I just wanted to quickly illustrate the rough process involved in getting these templates converted over to using RapidWeaver. So we've got ourselves a functioning page. I can actually click on these links and it scrolls us to the correct part of the page, and all of our links and all of our icons are displaying perfectly for us. So this is a very successful conversion. How would you go about editing this page in RapidWeaver now? Well, straight away we could go back into edit mode and we could actually use some of the RapidWeaver theme API features for a few bits and pieces. So for example, where it says Start Bootstrap here, if I type 2 percentage marks and then between those type site_title, what we can do is to actually fetch the site title from RapidWeaver. So in this case it's my website, which corresponds with the site title here. And then with regards to being able to edit the rest of the page, we can actually slice up this template some more. So what I could do is to duplicate this HTML stack, and I can do that by selecting the stack in edit mode, holding down the Alt key on my keyboard and just dragging and dropping the stack, and that actually gives us 2 instances of the stack here. And what I can do is go into the HTML code here and we can look for the main central content container of the page. So I'm looking through here and I'm thinking that it's going to be this block here, so I can just select that. Actually that's contact information. Let's scroll back up a little further. It's probably this section here they've marked features, and it's actually marked as a section area. So this whole block of code here I can just delete out like that, and then I could perhaps delete out everything below that area too, like that. And then on this lower block of HTML, let's go into here and I'm going to take out my navigation bar because we've already got that at the top. Take out the master header, take out download, take out this features section again, and then we'll leave in the bottom section of the page like so. If I just preview a page quickly, what we should hopefully find is that it looks more or less the same as it did before, with the exception that the middle content container is now gone. And so what I can do is I can start to rebuild this page with Stax. If we assume we finish editing the top of the page, we can hide that stack, and we can also hide the bottom stack. And we could say that this is going to be the main part of our website. So I could go ahead and just stick in some dummy content here, put in a title, Hello World, make that a little bigger. I could give this stack some padding, lots of padding, lots of margin, and I'll just preview the page again. And as you can see, header is still intact up here, got a call to action area here, another call to action here, social links and footer at the bottom, but we've started to rebuild the centre of this page now with our own stacks, and certainly we could continue to go ahead and build out the rest of this page with stacks. Some of the stacks which I'd recommend which work really well for this would be the Beautiful stacks, which are a free download from the ThemeFlood website. And so, for example, if I wanted to constrain the content within the middle of the page, I could start with a container stack, and we could put in our content in the middle there. I'll just turn off those. There's a spacer stack as well, which we could, stick in here quite easily, and we could also get a bit creative and put content within, a shadow. Put in a rule, duplicate some content, change this to more content, close the Stax library, preview the page again, and you can see straight away we're starting to construct ourselves a really nice website quite quickly and easily. You can see once you get over that initial hurdle of slicing up the HTML for the top section of a page and the bottom section, once you've got the nitty-gritty of it sorted, actually building the remainder of your page is a surprisingly straightforward process, very simple to do. And the final thing to look at is, you may recall that I mentioned I didn't particularly like how dim the links were at the top here. When the page first loads, they're too difficult to see, and even when you start to scroll the page down, they're rather thin. I've done a bit more testing of this, and this is actually present in the live test page of this particular template, particularly in WebKit browsers like Safari. So this is something which we can actually update and change universally everywhere. So I'm just going to put in some extra custom CSS code here to increase the font size of those links, and also to make them bold as well. And you can see straight away that's made a remarkable difference. They are much clearer and work correctly. And occasionally there may be small tweaks and things like that you've got to make to some of these templates, but it's all part of working with Bootstrap and building good quality web pages like this. Sometimes you do have to make small amendments like that to get things looking correct. So I think that's all there is to explain about this, really. Certainly if you do have any questions, then feel free to get in contact with me. This certainly is the most sort of advanced feature in RapidWeaver skins. So chances are, like I said earlier, if you've not done any work with HTML before, it's likely you might run into some roadblocks of trying to convert some of these more sophisticated templates. But hopefully from this video you've seen that it is possible to do, and this process and this procedure does work with a majority of templates available for Bootstrap, and this method of being able to import them in. So feel free to have a go with it yourself. There is a free demo version of RapidWeaver skins to download and have a play around with if you've not done so already and you haven't actually purchased a theme yet. This is just one of several very exciting features which RapidWeaver Skins supports. We do have support as well for applying skins to themes, which are just a simple CSS file which can radically alter the style and appearance of an existing page. Whereas this system I'm showing today actually demonstrates more the actual structural layout and being able to change that within the page using existing Bootstrap themes. So I hope this is of interest to you anyway. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up as always, and until next time, look forward to chatting with you again soon.